Man and Machine is brought to you by Highflex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.
Yeah, baby!
It's unbelievable.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome back. Have we got an episode for you? We're at Image Classic Cars in Adelaide, South Australia. We're going to see some amazing builds and we're going to drive an epic machine. Stay tuned and buckle up. Jeremy, fantastic to be back here at Image Classic Cars. It looks like you've got a lot going on here, but tell us about your Camaro build. I believe it's finished.
We've managed to finish out in the last 6 to 8 months. This one was probably one of the harder builds. We had to do rear quarters, floor pans, trunk panels. Pretty much most of the sheet metal on the car is brand new.
And would I be correct in saying this car was going to start off as a concours standard build, but you got a little bit carried away?
It was going to be a concours build to start with, and as I was talking to people and getting more involved in the build, it sort of evolved into more of how I wanted my Camaro to be than a concours car.
Tell us about the drivetrain, the power plant, this machine.
Currently it has a 350 crate engine in it with a turbo 350 transmission, but as all men do, we're going to pull it and put some more horsepower into it.
Come on, tell us, what's the plan?
Currently we're thinking of going 427.
Oh, that's the magic number, isn't it?
It is, and I'm going to keep the car forever, so I've decided just to up the horsepower to something that I'm going to be quite comfortable with.
Now, going back in time, the 427 was a big block engine, a big heavy engine. These days, you can stuff 427 cubes into a small block combo quite easily, can't you?
You sure can. I don't know if it's easy. It's going to need some custom headers and a lot of work from the boys, that's for sure, but we'll make it fit.
There's nothing like a 427, mate. It's the pinnacle.
Mate, you can never ever have enough power.
One of your latest builds here has caught my eye, the absolutely spectacular blue 67 coupe. Tell us about that machine.
This was a great build from the start. We had a lot of free rein with this car. We knew that he wanted a straight out 347 to go into it, and more of a custom type build than a standard concours type restoration. So it's been an exciting build, this one.
How long's a build like this take?
This one's been about 12 months.
Quite often you'll see builds like this sit in shops, gathering dust for many years.
The ideas on this one changed a lot as it evolved. It was going to be a stock 67 Mustang like every other one that you see around, and as we went to car shows and saw different things, the owner there come up with different ideas.
Well, you've certainly delivered, and just looking at the undercarriage on the car, it is absolutely mind-blowing. You could eat your breakfast off it.
It is. It's one of those builds that when you're doing the right-hand drive conversion, we put a new floor pan in the car, and we had to match the outside to the underneath for sure.
Now the standout for me is the paint on this car, and you guys put a hell of a lot of effort into making sure that's right here, don't you?
Oh, we do. This one took a long time to get exactly how he wanted it. It took us a long time to pick the paint colour, and he came up with Kona Blue for the car. And in the different lights, it changes colour, and in the sun, it just pops.
We're with Luke Patterson, the head painter here at Image Classic Cars. Luke, this car is absolutely spectacular. The colour pops in the sun. There must be a lot of work that goes into body and paint on this sort of build.
Well, thanks, Glenn. Yeah, actually, there's a great deal of work that goes into it, and we're probably pushing 100 hours of paint shop time on this one here.
Inside, the paint looks spectacular. Outside, amazing still, but totally different.
It has a lot of pearl. It's got a lot of violet in it and a lot of blue pearl. So the effect from sunlight to shade is very dramatic.
Imagine a car with this type of colour and some of the darker colours, that the body has to be absolutely 100% straight because it'll show up every imperfection, is that correct?
You just can't paint a car if you're not absolutely right with it. If you can't look down the side of it before you paint it and say, that's right, it won't be right with colour on it. It's great that the metal shop boys give me a good base to work with. It makes my job a lot easier. You need to be able to work closely with each other, and that makes a big difference because I may miss something where the other guys will pick it up and vice versa. So working together, we miss nothing.
It's a foolproof system.
It is, Glenn.
Brad, great to see you. I've noticed another new build, this beautiful silver blue 66 Mustang Coupe.
Yeah, we recently completed the car about 6 months ago. The car to start with was in pretty bad condition. The entire floor had to be replaced, rear quarters had to be replaced as well, beaver tail on the back. She was the full ground up restoration. She got the 289 Windsor in there, C4 transmission and an 8-inch disc brake conversion on the front.
These cars, they're over 50 years old now, so they're getting hard to find from a donor perspective, aren't they?
It is hard to find a good car these days. Everything can be fixed. This one was almost unfixable, but our body guys are that good, they brought it back. The customer wanted just a nice standard Mustang, and of course we ended up going a little bit further, and she's pretty much concourse now. The biggest problem with these builds is, where do you stop? You know, with a lot of the builds we have a budget that we've got to work to, but at the end of the day we want every car that leaves this workshop to be perfect. There's a lot of people building cars out there, so we have to make sure we've got a little bit extra there, you know. We've won a few trophies, we've won a few golden concourse and a few silvers, but a few more in the cabinet would always be nice.
Up next, more of this great collection. Highflex Mobile Hose Service, your complete hose breakdown and on-site service partner. Highflex Mobile Hose Service offers a complete range of quality guaranteed hydraulic and industrial hose and fittings products. We also specialise in preventative maintenance programs such as on-site hose condition auditing, testing and compliance. With our national fleet of qualified technicians, you can rely on Highflex Mobile Hose Service's rapid response to all of your needs. Call 1300 Highflex, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Do you have a hydraulic background? Come and join the dynamic Highflex team. Check out opportunities at www.highflex.com.au.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannons Home and Contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannons.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
And be sure to head to Shannons Club to see past episodes of Man and Machine and much more.
It seems you've got builds going on everywhere at the moment in the shop.
We've got a lot of exciting builds coming up in the future. To start with a nice 1950T Chevy pickup truck.
It's your own shop truck, is that correct?
Yeah, I've decided to build my own pickup as a shop truck for work, and it's got a 350 Chevy engine in it with a turbo 700 trans, and we've got some nice ideas to do on that one, yeah.
And you've got a Combi here too.
Yeah, we've got a 66 Combi van that we've got to do up to be a chauffeured vehicle that's going to be using wedding hires, and that client's actually got two, a 66 and a 69.
They've been extremely popular and some are pulling some pretty big money these days at auctions.
At Shannon's auction, a 27 window I think went for 200,000 plus not long ago.
Wow.
So as long as it's a split window, they're worth a lot of money now.
And you've got an early Monaro in the build too, I see. A very big build.
We do, the HT Monaro, that's a heartbreaker, that one. Unfortunately, once we stripped it back, there wasn't much left of the car that came back from sandblasting.
Extensive steel work.
Massive, probably one of the most extensive steelwork we've ever had to do on a car here.
We're with Stuart Leadbeater here at Image Classic Cars. He's body and fabricator. Stuart, we've got a 69 HT Monaro here, and I believe it was a very big project.
Yeah, this thing's been reasonably large. It came in looking half decent. Customer brought it in with a few blisters on the panel. We started having a look over it, found a few ugly rust spots. We sent the car out, got it media blasted, came back and we found a fair bit of rust in this one.
I believe that the blaster gave a call and said, you better come and pick up what's left of the Monaro.
He basically said it was almost a throwaway, but we've got a few boys here that know what to do, so we've gone to town and bare metal inside and out, replaced all the rust. Spent the last sort of 12, 13 weeks repairing and refabricating everything on this.
In some cases, some cars would be throwaway, but a HT Monaro is a very valuable car, isn't it?
Yeah, this one's a genuine HT 307 GDS. She's going to be a bit special when she's finished. So,
obviously, when you can buy replacement panels, you go down that path, but you've had to do a lot of your own fabrication on this, haven't you?
Yeah, with the Mustangs that we do, you can buy a lot of the panels. The HT Monaro, there's not a lot you can buy for them, so I've had to fabricate up nearly most of all the panels that we've done. We've lead wiped all the rear quarters, so back to factory should be as straight as a die and on par with the rest. So.
I've spotted a Silver Fox XWGT replica.
Yeah, it's another one of my recent purchases. We found that local owner had it and was never going to finish it off, so I've purchased it and decided to do that one up as my next real big project.
And the old 26 Chrysler, what's going on there?
Apparently there's only 2 in Australia that this guy knows of that was Australian delivered right-hand drive. So it's a very rare beast, and we're pretty excited to get onto that one and get that one built up.
And a 66 convertible Mustang in vintage burgundy?
Yeah, that's right. With this one here, we've got to replace some toolboxes and some sill panels and some rails on that one.
So sometimes external appearance can be a little bit deceiving, can't it?
It sure can be, because that car is in beautiful condition, and from looking on the outside, you'd say that that's a perfectly good car. But unfortunately, when we started to look at it a bit harder, we could actually stick our hand through the toolbox into the rail.
So it'll be 100% once you've sorted it out.
We'll get that one sorted for him.
Another thing that I'm hearing is very popular here at Image Classics is the right-hand drive conversions you're doing.
Yeah, right-hand drive conversions are pretty popular at the moment. We seem to be doing one every few months at the moment.
We're with Brad Blute here, the head body man at Image Classic Cars. Brad, it looks like you've got a fair project happening here, and it's having a right-hand drive conversion. Can you tell us a bit about the right-hand drive conversion process and what makes the difference between a good and bad conversion?
On this particular model, being a 65 Mustang, you can't buy any right-hand drive manufactured parts, so it's a matter of cutting and shutting 1,000 measurements and basically doing a mirror image of your firewall, your cowl panel, your wipers, and the dashboard. There's a lot of time involved in getting it correct. It doesn't stop at the firewall, it comes forward, and to get that mirror image, to make it look like it came out of the factory, certainly takes a lot of hours.
So when you say mirror image, we're talking about windscreen wipers as well, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, so basically as it came out of the factory, it should look that way, but on the opposite side of the car.
So you've obviously got 2 options. You've got the concourse people who want a factory look, identical to 1964, 5 or 6, and then you've got your retro mod style where you go to a steering rack, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So for the factory concourse, you have to get your drag link modified, x-rayed and engineered, or you go along the lines of as you said, a power steering rack. We use an RRS power steering rack, and it certainly makes it drive like a brand new car too.
So effectively, if you want a right-hand drive conversion that looks totally factory stock, it can be achieved.
Yeah, here's living proof.
After the break, we get to sample a surprise package that'll blow your socks off.
Damn, there's just no room under here.
There's no need to do this anymore when you can buy a tough lift hoist starting from only $26.50. With over 20 models in their range, including 2-post, 4-post, scissor lift, motorcycle and truck. They're great for storage too. All tough lift hoists have Australian standard certification and WorkSafe design registration. With an impressive warranty, in-house technical support and installation options Australia-wide, what are you waiting for? Check out toughlift.com.au.
I love my tough lift.
SP Tools, an Australian company supplying Australians with quality tools for nearly 30 years, with a nationwide network supplying and servicing automotive, construction, trade, commercial, industrial and hardware. If you need hand tools, air tools, cordless tools, compressors, pressure washers or generators, check out www.sptools.com for the leaders in innovation. SP Tools, the Australian tool company taking tools to the world. Available in over 33 countries.
At a moment like this, you don't get a second chance to put on the right wiper blade assemblies. So always choose Trico, the wipers that come through right when you need it most. Trico wiper blades are precision engineered to perform on your vehicle so you can drive with confidence. Trico, seeing you through.
In the past, we've seen your passion for the 6970 fastback Mustang. They're a very smart looking thing, aren't they? They really get my heart racing.
I don't think there's a better body style out there. It's my personal favourite.
And I've noticed you've got another beautiful build here, a 70 fastback. Tell us about that car.
Yeah, we had another car come in for a client. We were able to restore for him and take it back to bare metal and do a complete redo on it.
So what's the colour on that car? It looks great.
It's medium blue metallic, and that one really pops in the sun.
Tell us about the drivetrain on that car.
That's got the 351 in it with a 4V, of course shaker scoop on that one, with a FMX transmission and a 9-inch diff.
And is this car a concourse build or more of a street car?
It's sympathetic to the age. It was more built just to be a really nice driver.
A good all-round cruiser.
Yeah.
To a very high standard.
Which the customer drives a lot.
We've got another car here that goes right back to where it all began for Mustang. This beautiful little 64.5 sunlight yellow coupe. What's the story with this one?
This one here came into the shop and it was probably the most impressive 64.5 I've ever seen. It was completely rust-free. I think that the smallest part was under a seat riser that we were able to find on the complete car. It's just not bodies like that in that condition. You don't find them anymore like that.
So is it a concourse build? It looks unbelievable.
The condition of the car, it had to have been a concourse for that one. There was no other way to do it. It was just a perfect car to start with and the best body I think I've seen in a long time.
Give us a rundown on the car. Obviously it's an F code from what I can see, but tell us about the drivetrain on it.
Yeah, it's a 260 2V car, still with a C4. And drum brakes all round, of course, generator. So it's got all the original 64.5 parts there for it.
So they did run a generator back in the early days and then swapped over to the alternator, is that correct?
Yeah, they did, yeah. The 65 model was a changeover year, so they got rid of the old generators and went to a proper alternator.
Has the car seen the show scene at all?
Yeah, it sure did. Back in 2014, it went across to the Mustang Nationals in Geelong, where it won gold in concourse there.
That's a great effort, isn't it?
Oh, it's a fantastic car to start with, and you don't get many bases that good to build a concourse car, that's for sure.
I see the Eleanor is finally completed and running.
Yeah, it's been a monumental build, that one. She's finally up and running and perfect. Yeah, it's a great car.
To some people, the Eleanor is almost the pinnacle when it comes to Mustangs. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool car. It's definitely my favourite build. Eleanor came to us as an already complete car, but it was not up to our standards by far, and the owner wasn't as happy when it finally arrived here from the States either. So initially we just decided to pull it down and give it a fresh paint job, but as all the cars in this shop, it just turned out to be something a whole lot more. She ended up becoming a full rotisserie ground up rebuild.
Tell us about the drivetrain on it. It looks very exciting.
Yeah, little supercharged 347, she goes pretty well, revs pretty hard. The atomic fuel injection all computer controlled in there, adds a little bit of the new age stuff to it. Definitely gives you a good kick in the back, that's for sure. Set you back in your seat. With the rack and pinion steering in there and the TCP front end, all the suspension, upper and lower control arms, all tubular coilover shockers in there. She feels really great, really tight.
With the movie Gone in 60 Seconds back in 2000 featuring the Eleanor, it did start a real trend when it came to these builds, didn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. There's quite a few cars being built, but this one's so far the only one in South Australia that we know of, and it attracts a lot of attention.
When it comes to a head turner, it doesn't get much better in Stang, does it?
No, not really.
They did share some elements with the GT500 Shelby though, didn't they? There are some touches there and they did use some of that as reference, didn't they?
Yeah, the original car obviously in 73 was a Mach 1, but then the later remake in 2000 with Angelina Jolie and Nicolas Cage, they used the 67 GT500 and modified it slightly.
Just a little?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Well, I'm driving it. This 1967 GT500 Eleanor.
Always wanted your very own muscle car or classic? Then Image Classic Cars is your solution. Where pride, knowledge, quality and service counts for the ultimate experience. From award-winning concourse restorations to full custom builds, muscle cars to classics of all makes and models, right-hand drive conversions, even Australia-wide enclosed pick-up and delivery for your pride and joy. also currently taking orders for this spectacular Image Classic Cars Eleanor Mustang, custom built to suit your personal requirements. Image Classic Cars. Live the dream. A tough car needs a tough oil, and that's when you need Gulf Western Oil. It's Australian owned, developed and manufactured in their state-of-the-art production facility. So no matter what you drive, you can be assured you're in the right hands for all your lubrication needs. Gulf Western Oil, the tough Australian.
Well, I'm driving it. This 1967 GT 500 Eleanor. Wow! Amazing. It all dates back to the original movie Gone in 60 Seconds back in the early 70s. And then of course the remake in 2000 where they used Eleanor at this time. What a machine. You know, Cinema Vehicle Services actually designed and built the cars for the movie. And we had Nicolas Cage as Randall Memphis Raines as the ex-car thief behind the wheel. They stole a whole bunch of cars and this was the one that was highest on his list and he nailed it. And then had an epic car chase. Awesome stuff. This isn't the movie car, of course, it's a full-blown replica and an extremely good example of one too. You know, they built a few cars for the movie for use in various applications. And then they had the hero car, the car that Nicolas Cage himself actually drove in the movie. I'm told that that car at Meekham Auctions actually sold for a cool $1 million back in 2013. Wow, that's a lot of money, but a lot of car. Imagine what a trophy that machine would be to have in your lounge room or your living room on display. I'd love it, but I want to make sure there was a door there to get out and put the thing on the road. Now, when Cinema Vehicle Services actually designed and built the cars, they were definitely on the right path. The GT 500 Shelby in that 1967 year model was definitely a fantastic base to use. Now, I'm a massive fan of anything Carroll Shelby did and the Shelby brand and all of the models, but for me, the 1967 GT 500 is pretty epic. They've got that mean looking front that looks like a shark, like it's going to devour you, and I love it. So this car, or this design, is effectively that model, but on steroids, with even more muscle, if that is possible. So how does it perform? Let's just say, extremely well. The sound the thing makes too, the growl, the snarl, the exhaust note, that supercharger whine, the induction noise, it's got all the right things happening. It's pressing all the right buttons and ticking all the right boxes. Yep, this is my sort of car. The torque the thing makes from low RPM, 2,500, you just stand on the gas, the thing just pulls and sits you back in the seat. Rev the thing up to around 6,000 to 6,600 RPM and man, is it moving at warp speed. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, baby. Yeah! Now, the original movie car had a small block Windsor crate engine making about 400 horsepower. They had suspension upgrades and brakes, of course, because they wanted the thing to handle well and smoke the tyres and perform well too. You needed that excitement within the movie. This car here is a little unique though. It's an incredible build. The build quality is absolutely spectacular. But you have the 347 Windsor combination up front with a nice little positive displacement supercharger and one of the most recent self-tuned 4-barrel style EFI systems. It's running 9 PSI and makes a cool 580 horsepower and nearly as much foot-pound of torque. Now that's what I call excitement. It's got the 5-speed Tremec trans backed by a 9-inch rear end. Now the interesting thing is this car here actually has a 411 gear in the rear end. That is super low and tyre shredding territory. But with the 5-speed, it's still got excellent highway cruise. tell you what, that really gets my heart racing. That forged small block V8, that supercharger whine, manual, you've got to love that stick shift, the torque it makes. We've got that muscle car look, we've got that supercar performance, we've got the drivability and handling of a late model sports car, and we've got all the mod cons inside. What more would you want? I'll tell you what, there's only one more thing I would want, and that's this. And guess what? We've got it. The sound. That's the sort of music I like. You'll notice I haven't even got the sound system on. I don't want music, I want engine music, and that's what counts to me. I go home dreaming about it.
Man and Machine is brought to you by Highflex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.